For part A of this experiment, we're going to take 4 different test tubes and label them A through D. In each test tube, we're going to add 1 milliliter of a substance. So for test tube A, it's going to be 1 milliliter of 6 molar H3PO4. For test tube B, it's 1 milliliter of 6 molar HCl. For C, it's 1 milliliter of 6 molar H2SO4, and for D, it's 1 milliliter of 6 molar CH3COOH. As well, we're adding 1 centimeter of magnesium to each test tube. And then we will time to see how long it takes for the magnesium strip to fully dissolve. So in test tube A, with the H3PO4, it took 137 seconds. In test tube B, it took 24 seconds. In test tube C, it took 50 seconds. And in test tube D, it took 58 seconds. Moving on to part B of the experiment, we have 3 test tubes. We're labeling them zinc, magnesium, and copper. And we're adding 1 centimeter of each metal that it is labeled into the test tube. So we'll add 1 centimeter strip of zinc, 1 centimeter strip of magnesium, and 1 centimeter strip of copper. Then we'll add 6 molar of HCl into each test tube, filling it up about halfway. And we'll time it to see how long the metal takes to fully dissolve. So for the zinc in the 6 molar HCl, it took 400 seconds. For the magnesium, it took 24 seconds. And the copper was non-reactive, which means there was no dissolving or anything, it just stayed the same. Moving on to part C of our experiment, we've got 3 sets of test tubes, each set containing 2 test tubes, and we've got a low, a room temperature, and a high. The low was put into an ice bath so that the temperature of the HCl was 0 degrees Celsius. The room temperature one was 22 degrees Celsius. And the high was 60 degrees Celsius. We also had in there Na2S2O3, and we tried to find out how long it would take for crystallization to occur. For the low, it took 184 seconds. For the room temperature set, it took 81 seconds. And for the high, it took 31 seconds. For part D, we only used 1 test tube. And we put 1 to 2 magnesium oxide strips, crystals, into the test tube, and then we added 2 milliliters of H2O2, and the reaction turned black. This was because we used a catalyst. Lastly, for part E, we had 4 separate test tubes labeling them 1 molar, 3 molar, 4 molar, and 6 molar. And then we added 5 milliliters of 1 molar HCl for the 1 molar test tube, 5 milliliters of 3 molar HCl for the 3 molar test tube, and so on. We also added 1 centimeter strip of magnesium into each test tube and recorded how long it took for the strip of magnesium to dissolve. So the higher the molar HCl, the quicker we found that the magnesium dissolved. It was 600 seconds for 1 molar, 70 seconds for 3 molar, 35 seconds for 4 molar, and 13 seconds for 6 molar. And that was the end of our experiment.